Hello, good afternoon. This is Carla, spoken word. Okay, I've been trying to get this one piece recorded and I just keep making mistakes. So I'm going to do my best not to make any mistakes. But if I do, please bear with me. This piece is called It All Started with Laughter. And I'm going to recite some lyrics from Sting's song, Straight to My Heart, just to start off the piece, okay? Well, in 100 years from now, they will attempt to tell us how a scientific means to bliss will supersede the human kiss. A subatomic chain will maybe galvanize your brain. A biochemical trance will eliminate romance. But why should we care when there are arrows in the air formed by lovers' ancient art that go straight to my heart? So those are the lyrics from Sting. And now I will begin my story. It all started with laughter. A long time ago, I was watching a talk show, and one of the guests claimed that they experienced having an orgasm every time they brushed their teeth. Since I never had that experience, I considered the interview just another gimmick to get more ratings. Here recently, I have had to change my opinion on the subject of where one can experience an orgasm and what can bring one on. I can honestly say that I have laughed more on my current job with my coworkers than on any job before. One day we were listening to a Cheetahs program, and the situation was so stupid that I just had to laugh at the insanity of it. But my laughter took me to a whole new dimension. I felt like I was having an orgasm in my head. It felt extremely good and overpowering. At the same time, I was so afraid that someone would recognize that I was climaxing right in front of their eyes. So I had to straighten up and act right. I would have shrugged it off, but the sensation repeated itself on a few more occasions. I figured it was probably my repressed libido that had finally exploded and had found an outlet in my brain. So I decided to investigate if there was such phenomena as brain orgasms. What I discovered in the Atlantic magazine, digital edition, December 16, 2013 article, How to Have a Brain Orgasm, was ASMR. The long term is Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. ASMR has been described as pleasant tingling sensations. Those sensations can be felt anywhere on the body, starting with the head, neck, and back. The article also mentioned that ASMR provided a sense of intimacy. This idea of intimacy intrigued me. What did they mean by that? My own definition of the word meant getting closer, emotionally closer to a person with the passage of time. Perhaps the building of trust between two people. Also cited in the article was ASMR artist Maria. She was famous for whispering. As I had not been on intimate terms with anyone in years, I was eager to experience this altered state of reality. I was off to YouTube and in an instant found Maria. Instinctively, I knew I would have to get into bed with my iPad and I would have to wear my earphones. My first experience was unnerving. It was as if Maria was in bed with me. I could hear her in my head, not my ears. Eventually, she soothed me to sleep. The next day, I decided if anyone was going to be that close to me, I wanted it to be a man. So, my search entailed ASMR 3D sound. The technical term is binaural. Binaural sound in its simplest form is created by having a dummy or mannequin head with a microphone placed in each of its ears. This creates the ear-to-ear sensation when the ASMR artist speaks into one or the other ear. The first male artist I found providing this sound was Federico De Luca. He was very soothing and I was put to sleep every night for almost 3 weeks by his voice. As a result, I actually looked forward to going to bed. I actually looked forward to going home at night. I was happy to crawl into bed with my iPad and earphones. I was no longer sleeping alone. I had company. If I thought anything was wrong with my earphones, I went out and bought another pair immediately. Hanging out with friends on a Friday night was not more important than going home and going to bed. In that short space of time, I learned about Mr. DeLuca's life, his health problems, and how he had overcome some of them while still challenging others. I found him to be an amazing person and grew fond of him. I never wanted him to leave when he would announce a countdown. During this period, I tried to explain ASMR and the intimacy it provided me with to family and friends. Friends questioned why I didn't go for the real thing. They even questioned my faith. They called it satanic and warned me to watch where those voices would lead me. This just served to propel me further on the course of listening more. I responded to this by stating real intimacy comes with strings attached. Furthermore, being in a relationship was not synonymous with intimacy. You could find out that you were the only one involved in a relationship. So I really had nothing to lose since I had already experienced that for myself. Family members, on the other hand, were not too keen on opening the doors of their emotions or unfulfilled desires. Undeterred, I continued to listen to Mr. DeLuca until I had heard almost everything he had done at least 2 or 3 times. I needed to find another ASMR artist who had the same sound quality, spoke from ear to ear, and had good content. In my search, I exposed myself to hypnosis for sleep, abundance building, affirmations for love, wealth, past life regression, the clearing of negativity, massage, role playing, astral projection, chakra balancing, and third eye cleansing. In the midst of all of this, I found Mr. Scott Jessup, the true binaural and ASMR artist. He had quantity, more than 100 videos, and free of those annoying advertisements. I chose to listen to him. I was well past the age of being told not to take candy from strangers. How much trouble could I get into while in my own apartment, in my own bedroom, in my bed between my sheets, with my own iPad and a pair of earphones? I decided to take a nap. I awoke with my back seriously arched, and I found myself sexually aroused, at which point I took instant notice of Mr. Jessup. I wanted to know 2 things. What had just happened to me, and who was this man? In the weeks that followed, I learned that he was a professional hairstylist who had given up his salon business due to the pressures of running it. He suffered from insomnia and anxiety. Also, that he had overcome alcoholism and had become a vegetarian. I sensed that he was a very strong person, but that there was also a fragility to him. This element of fragility made me care about his life. There was not a night that I did not take Mr. Jessup to bed with me. He put me to sleep. He also talked and whispered me into a state of ecstasy. It was the very closeness of his mouth, voice, and breath to my ear. With each arch of my back, and there were many, loads of dopamine and endorphins were released into my bloodstream. Now, these dopamine and endorphins are the chemicals that make you feel good. They make you feel really good, okay? Okay, so my age, weight, height, racial makeup, socioeconomic status, health, finances, class, education, time, space, and distance, none of these things mattered. I was free of all the obstacles that get in the way of being close with someone. I got up each morning happy to go to work. My smile was animated. My step had a bounce to it. I was sensitive to the emotional needs of my staff and tried my best to mitigate any problem they had. I felt more loving toward them. My hair even looked better. There was also an additional benefit. My writing greatly improved. This one man came to life on the page. It moved and enraged a friend so much that they hit me. Needless to say, the friendship came to an abrupt end. In another instance, the piece served as just one of the many nails in the coffin of a marriage that was doomed to fail, the unintended consequences of making art. Despite these two events, I was happy. I probably would have remained so if it had not been for that one night. I went to bed with Mr. Jessup as usual. Somewhere between sleeping and wakefulness, I heard his voice coming from behind me. I reached to pull him closer to me, and he wasn't there. The illusion was shattered, and I was heartbroken. But worse than that, who was holding me against my will? How had they gotten into my house, in my bed, and I not know they were there? Of course, a fight ensued. I was trying to bite a hand or a finger when this thought calmly passed through my mind. The hand you bite may just be your own. At which point I calmed down and realized I was being held in my own embrace. My arms were like lead. The cumulative effect of listening to Mr. Jessup like a blind man for so many nights in a row. How does a blind man listen? With rapt attention. With daybreak came the awareness that I had fallen in love with him. Somewhere between watching and listening to Mr. Jessup's videos, notably his 43 ASMR whisper videos and 12 guided meditations, in particular his ASMR guided meditation for tingles, ASMR makes no sense, ASMR car ramble 2 on anxiety, ASMR exam stress, and ASMR Vespertine, a break and flow, my storybook, and his classic Crystal Palace of Illuminated Colors. Every morning after that, I suffered. Every insecurity I ever had flared up and attacked me. The Eros principle of love gave me no rest either. It wanted to kindle those flames of emotion. It wanted the real taste of kisses, the real physical touch and rub. It wanted to manifest itself into a relationship. I had the sense of loving someone, but nowhere to put that love. That love could never be reciprocated, at least not in this lifetime. Once again, the unintended consequences of making art. Thousands of people loved him. That's Binky on the table. She just has to be somewhere. Okay. Whatever this love was, it was dying in front of my eyes. I had to get out of those feelings. I had to save myself. I had to turn poison into medicine. I knew I did not want to forget him. I wanted to assure myself that wherever his life took him, that he would be all right. I remembered this quote from Nichiren Daishonin's Gosho, Questions and Answers about Embracing the Lotus Sutra. Quote, single-mindedly chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo and urge others to do the same. That will remain as the only memory of your present life in this human world. Unquote. I would die happy if I had only the memory of him. The highest act of love and compassion that you can bestow a person with is to give them the key to their absolute happiness. That key is Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. With that key, they can overcome any and all sufferings. So I wrapped the seed to his enlightenment in a rap song and gave it to him. Once the seed was planted, it would grow with the passage of time. The whole experience made me re-examine and redetermine to have a love life, regardless of my fears and insecurities. If Mr. Jessup could find his way into my home, navigating myriad causes and effects, then so can my true love. I just hope I won't be deaf by that time and I can hear his sound. I hope you enjoyed, okay? And if you did, please leave a response. Okay, have a good day. Bye-bye.